All right, would like to thank everyone for joining us today for our Continuously Monitor Your Network Health webinar. We're going to be talking a little bit about Tenable network security today. First, I want to do a couple introductions. I am Chuck Eiton, Marketing Manager here at Productive Corporation. I am also joined by Taz Jolly, who is a security analyst over at Tenable, and Ted Gary, who is the Senior Product Marketing Manager for the product that we're going to be taking a look at today, which is Tenable SecurityCenter Continuous View. And want to thank everyone for joining us today and hopping on the event and wanting to learn a little bit more about Tenable and the products that they have to offer. So with that, let's take a quick look at the agenda. We're going to meet Productive in 1 minute. We're going to talk. Ted's actually going to talk a little bit about solutions for every need, a little bit about the Tenable products, and then we're going to take a look at Tenable SecurityCenter Continuous View and doing that. So let's get rolling. Who is Productive? Who are we? What do we do? Let's take a quick look at that. So Productive, we are security and storage software experts for mid-sized companies. At Productive, you will have a dedicated account executive who will be responsible for meeting your needs and solving your problems. Productive also offers relevant resources for the products we specialize in. We can do things like security assessments. We can do implementation, optimization, penetration tests for your network, configuration assistance, UTM services, really everything the mid-market needs. We also have a lot of content out there. We have a lot of white papers. We have a lot of stuff on our YouTube channel, which is on productivecorp.com or on YouTube/productive content. You can find the information as well. We're here to help you. 800-726-4099. So we're at the point where I'll introduce Ted into the conversation, who is the Senior Product Manager for Tenable Network Security Continuous View. Ted, you with us?
I am. Thanks, Chuck.
Cool. All right, you want to talk a little bit about Tenable? I'm sure we have a bunch of people on the call today that may know who you guys are, may not know who you are. Let's do that. And before you begin, I am monitoring the chat here. So if anyone has any questions, they'd love to ask Taz or Ted. Feel free to chat those in the chat box, and I'll make sure I get those out and asked, and we get that answered.
Thanks, Chuck. So most people know Nessus. Nessus is a vulnerability assessment, vulnerability management product that's been around for years and years. And in fact, more people know Nessus than they know Tenable. And we are known for vulnerability management. The first three products I'm listing here, so Nessus Professional, Nessus Manager, Nessus Cloud, and even Security Center, are really focused around vulnerabilities. The capabilities, as you move down from Nessus down to Manager and Cloud and Security Center, the capabilities go up. But I wanted to set the stage. Today we're talking about Security Center Continuous View, and it is much more than a vulnerability management or vulnerability analytics platform. So Chuck, if you'd move to the next slide, I'll briefly introduce it before turning it over to Taz. So this is Security Center Continuous View. In addition to management, it does some log collection, forensics analysis, incident response. We cover mobile, virtual, and cloud. A lot of other capabilities we do here around network behavioral analysis. And I'm not going to go through each one of these, but I just wanted to set the stage and say that this product really does a lot. It has a lot of capabilities. And we talked about can we do a demo of it in 20 minutes? And we've challenged Taz to do that. So he's going to get in and show you some of the highlights of the product, but keep in mind that a typical demo for this is probably closer to an hour than 20 minutes. So if you have some questions, as Chuck said, we'll try to answer them. And if not, we can follow up with you later. But let's turn it over to Taz and let him commence with the demo.
All right. Okay, as I am making you the presenter right now, should be able to, there you go.
Perfect.
Should be able to grab control. All right, we see your screen, so we're rocking and rolling.
All right, thank you, Chuck. Thank you, Ted. Good morning, everyone. Like Ted mentioned, it's kind of impossible to go through this product in about 20 minutes, so I'll try my best to kind of go through the key highlights. I mean, this product usually is about 4 days training to kind of understand the basics, so it's definitely a challenge. So before I kind of dive into the demo and kind of show you how exactly the product works, let me kind of explain you why and give you a kind of a little overview of the threat landscape and attack vectors we're dealing with today. Now, 2014, Maindiat, like kind of FireEye, reported that 100% of victims had an up-to-date antivirus signatures, and attackers had access to a breach system for 229 days before they were detected. Actually, 204 as of this year. And in 2014, McAfee reported about 300 new emerging threats every minute. That means about 50,000 threats that are being detected every day. Now, how do you really deal with those kind of emerging threats? Now, traditional security measures like firewalls, antivirus, are not good anymore against these zero-day exploits and advanced persistent threats. A good percentage of malware is not detected by current antivirus and anti-malware. And the reason is that traditional endpoint security and perimeter security was created in an era where attacks were widespread across millions of endpoints. And in those days, antivirus, IPS, all these anti-malware companies would distribute signatures, update heuristics and behavior analysis techniques almost on a daily basis. But that's not feasible anymore with these 50,000 threats being detected every day. We can't be pushing 30, 40,000 signatures every day and update heuristics and behavior analysis every hour. So, and today's attacks are more targeted, more focused, more sophisticated, and seen on very few endpoints, and sometimes it's just one organization. Now, as an attacker, in order to perform successful attack, you have to go through a list of steps, and you have to be successful in each and every step. For example, first step might be to get zero exploit into an organization which remains undetected by typical security measures, right? Second might be to get exploiting the vulnerability on an endpoint. An endpoint can be a laptop, server, infrastructure device, right? And then maybe downloading and installing the malware, establishing command and control. So you need to stop the attacker at one of these steps to foil an entire attack. And we call each of these opportunities where we can stop an attack a kill point. And set of these kill points is called a kill chain. So now, how do we address this kill chain? That's why we're here today. Now, Security Center is a next-generation vulnerability analytics platform and a management platform that provides comprehensive visibility into your security postures. That's not only vulnerabilities, but misconfigurations and malware. So if you have a vulnerability management that does not address those things, you're not really dealing with a new product, up-to-date product. And so let me actually talk. The traditional vulnerability management had another problem, right? So it leaves an organization vulnerable for a period of time. Scans. Now, when you scan, if you're familiar with scanning or vulnerability management, usually like critical security controls, there's a control number 4 that recommends a scan every week. Now, if you're not scanning every week, you're not following the controls. However, even if you are scanning every week, you will still be kind of vulnerable between that period of 1 week, right? Which we call the gap, the vulnerability gap. So only way to address that is by continuous monitoring, right? And so Security Center Continuous Network Monitoring Platform, which includes Security Center as a part of its solution, is a complex set of processes, practices that involves presenting a true representation of organizations' exposure to cybersecurity risk, right? And also want to add one more last thing before I start showing you. NIST, National Institute of Standards and Technology, requires federal agencies to implement continuous monitoring. And Security Center Continuous View was chosen by the Department of Defense Security Agency, DISA, as an assured compliance assessment solution, which we call ACAS for Department of Defense. Now, Security Center Continuous View offers ability to continuously measure, visualize, and analyze the security risk posture of enterprise, and offers true continuous monitoring without running scans every 24 hours. That's what we were talking about earlier. So it's very important to understand you have to continuously measure, visualize, and analyze. So how do we measure? Now, we have a beautiful thing here, which we call assurance report cards. So it comes with 3 critical controls. Now, every organization and a company must have a security policy in place along with a set of guidelines, standards, procedures, and a way to align these security policies to high-level business objectives. So now, not only do these orgs help you communicate effectiveness of security policies to C-level executives, but also helps you meet these goals and validate your business objectives and meet that our objectives are met continuously by measuring the effectiveness of security policies based on business objectives and identifying potential security gaps. Now, these compliance, as you can see, these compliance scores, these RX, are really focus and measure the top 5 mandates of the most important regulations like PCI, SOX, HIPAA, and standards like SANS Top 20, NIST 853, ISO 2702, FIPS, and all that, right? So if you can see these 5 things, which are like also among the top 5 managed by SANS Top 20, will tell you what's addressed and what's not being addressed on a constant. Just having a quick view. So your CSO can have a look at this. Oh, am I maintaining my inventory of software, hardware? Am I basically making sure the vulnerabilities are removed, the misconfigurations are taken care of? Am I making sure the configurations are secure? And you can customize those things, right? Let's say greater than 90% of the firewalls have their logs centrally located. Are we giving users the permissions they only need, right? And are we searching for malware intruders, right? So this is kind of a quick overview of ARCs. I mean, a little time, I'm going to move quickly. Then we come with we have an awesome view to look at the dashboard. We call dashboard. We have over 300 built-in dashboards, and I'll show you. And this gives you an ability to visualize, right? Today's network, which are complex with users and endpoints, not being managed, and ability to monitor the patterns across the network is so important. And being able to monitor your 30, 40,000 devices across the network, this is a beautiful way. This gives you a trend of what I'm addressing. I just created a 90-day trend in my network. It's a lab network, by the way. So it shows you how vulnerabilities are being addressed. Or am I kind of removing the vulnerabilities? Am I addressing that? What's the trend in my organization? Are we introducing new vulnerabilities? And it's just not static. It can all be clicked. Here it shows me the critical vulnerabilities, and I can just click on it, and it'll show me, what are the critical vulnerabilities in my organization, and I can dig it down further, and it can really go back into each and every vulnerability. Now, when you dig into each vulnerability, it gives you multiple things, right? Obviously, it gives you CVE-ID, Common Vulnerability Exposure ID, but also it gives the details of the vulnerability right here, and it gives you the solution, it gives the IP address that's affected, and it'll show you exactly what we found, right? It gives a screenshot of what we found. Now, the beautiful thing here is you can launch, if let's say you fix that vulnerability, it's been fixed, you can launch a remediation scan, right, just with a click right here. Or if you believe that this vulnerability is not important in your organization, for example, this lives on a search that's sitting in your lab, is not connected to your internet, you don't really care, and you don't want to show this vulnerability on report, all you just click on here is accept risk, and it'll just kind of disappear from your report. It won't get deleted, but just disappear. However, also, if you believe this is not critical, this is just informational, it doesn't really bother me, I still want to have it on report, you can just simply change the severity level to info right here. Now, going back to the dashboard, like I said, there are about 300 dashboards built in, and you can add as many as you like. Like you can see, I added a few of them. You want to see if you are really how are you basically positioned compared to Verizon database report. You can just look at this report, and you can open this dashboard, and you can see how you are placed, and you can give that dashboard to your CSO or your executives who can look at it in a quick way. Look at NIST 853, and there are hundreds of dashboards. You can simply go add, and it can show you that these dashboards are being updated almost every day. You can see this one was updated November 13, 2015, and you can go through hundreds of dashboards right here. So I'm not going to go through all of them. And going back to the dashboard, so one last thing I want to show you. As you can see, I got this breaking kill chain, what I was talking about, right? So you can really see what systems are being addressed, what is the problem on each system, and you can just simply click and figure out what's happening. Going to the next stage of analysis, which we talked about, let me remove this filter. So you can see all the vulnerabilities that live on my system. You can see there are 18,000 vulnerabilities that live in my organization, which is a lab. Hopefully you don't have this kind of vulnerabilities. And you can click and drill down on each vulnerability, and the same thing, you can find out exactly what the problem is. Now, this is a very beautiful part. This is this event data, which you're going to look at right now in a second, comes directly from our continuous monitoring components. That includes PVS. PVS is a passive vulnerability scanner, and this gives us a continuous, monitoring ability in a network. And PVS can continuously monitor a network. It can be tied to the span port or a tap port, and it'll push the data to Security Center. And you can really look. You can see what's happening here. If you see a login failure, for example, you can click on it, and you can drill down. I mean, it's going to be a little slow. It's my lab. It's a lot of data, but I'll show you right here. I pulled the data right here. You can look what exactly is happening. It's detail from the syslog, but it'll also show you exactly what happened and where it happened, and you can drill down further into each detail, right? So while this is coming up, I can show you. Now you can basically have scans. That's what I talked about. This is a next generation solution for vulnerability management, because you're just really tying up all these loose ends. Now we can, something important I want to show you, this is a typical flow, how our components tie into each other. You can see LCE, which is a log correlation engine, can basically pull data from most of the intrusion detections, whether it's Cisco, SourceFire, SNOT, IntroShield Bro, or Windows event logs, and we have LCE clients for most of the operating systems, or even for the most popular SIEM solutions like Splunk, where you can pull the data. Now, because in today's organizations, you have firewalls, you have IPS, you have SIEMs, you have encryption and data for data and rest, data in motion, SSL management. You have so many components. How do you really track? So Tenable gives a total turnkey solution where you can tie in all those loose ends into one single solution. So you can feed all that data from all these different components into LCE, and LCE can just push that back into Security Center. And whatever data is not being measured or logged can be pulled by PVS, which is constantly monitoring network, and can push the data to Security Center. And anything that's maybe remote, you can have agents installed, and Nessus can be scanning, and agents can be scanning. Nessus is a scanner, a professional scanner, which can also push data to Security Center. Now, all these data, all the components are pushing data right here into your dashboard, right here, into your Security Center. Now, you go back to now scanning part of this is you can see you have different kind of scans. When I say active scan, you can add a scan, which is basically selecting a scan from a scanner. And this is a new feature that was recently added into our latest product. It's called Agents So agents is a beautiful thing. So this is a most important thing I want you to walk away with this from the seminar is we tie tightly into threat intelligence, and it's so critical because having these, our partnership with ThreatGrid, Reversing Labs, and IAD, we're monitoring billions of IOCs, indicators of compromise every day. And now, if you have a system and there's a 0-day or there's a process that we cannot identify through our agent that's running on the system, and we can immediately basically go and just correlate it in the cloud, our database, our threat intelligence. This threat intelligence feed from ThreatGrid, IAD, Reversing Lab comes along with the defaults with the product. So you don't have to pay anything for that. You don't have to worry about it. So we'll just kind of look and directly relate to the cloud, correlate to the cloud, and see if this has been blacklisted, the processing has been blacklisted, the IP has been blacklisted, the file has been blacklisted, and we can immediately go back and tell you that, oh, this process is blacklisted, and we'll report that as a vulnerability. So most of the traditional antivirus, anti-malware may not be able to pick on that. So this is a really powerful thing. The other powerful thing on this analysis, what I was trying to show you earlier, is, sorry about this, it just takes a little time. So this analysis gives an ability to something what we call targeted IDS. Now, targeted IDS is something very powerful. Now, if you remember, recently Sony got hacked, and the reason was they did have an alert, right? They did have an alert that from an intrusion detection that there was an event. However, that alert was ignored. But however, had this kind of a solution in place, what would have happened is we would have also picked up on that and listed it as actually a targeted IDS. And once you click that, it'll show you basically, oh, you know what, your intrusion detection already detected there's a threat, and we also see that system is vulnerable. Now the chances of that system being exploited is absolutely high. So at this point, you will not ignore the fact. You will not ignore the alert. You will really have to react. And we can send an alert. So we have an awesome workflow through this product. You can pretty much add all kind of tickets. You can, add an alert, and you can send it to an email. You can define all the actions on that. Sorry, unfortunately, in this small time I have, it's not possible to show you that. But be more happy to show you anytime. You can reach us through our email. So going back to the reports, and you can also look at reports. They're very, I just pulled one report right here. I just want to show you. This is a simple report which gives me a total visibility in the network. It can show me in 6-month trends of the vulnerabilities that can be exploited. Are they going up or down? What's happening on the trend curve, and what are the top systems that are affected here, and it gives you a big breakdown by each IP address. You can look at the top ports that are affected, and then also you can look at the critical vulnerabilities. So the earlier was exploitable vulnerabilities. This is just the critical vulnerabilities, and you can see the trend of each IP address and how they're being addressed. Now, also another thing, I think I have 1 minute before I let you go for questions, is the assets. The nice thing is, since, excuse me, Security Center is tied into PBS, into agents, into LCE, you are giving the real-time, up-to-date asset information. So you can see if we can dynamically add assets. You can combine assets. You can combine assets by infrastructure devices. You can do it by IP addresses, by static DNS names. So it's really awesome. I just want to show you real quick. Actually, here, you can say Windows servers and or maybe Cisco ASI firewalls, and you can create an asset list, and it will automatically update. And anytime there's basically a new asset, it'll automatically get updated because it's constantly monitoring. So thank you so much. I know I'm running out of time. I'll leave it to the questions so we can discuss, any questions you may have.
Cool. Well, thank you, Taz, for that. If you do have any questions, feel free to chat those to us while I wrap this thing up. Let me my screen. This. Let's show this. Let's do this. All right. Cool. So. So yeah, that was a lot to take in there, and I know you went pretty quick through there, Taz. So if you do have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, a couple things you can do is next step. If you want to get another grasp around this, we are going to have this up on our YouTube channel by hopefully tomorrow. And that's YouTube/productive content, or you can email us and we'll help at productivecorp.com, as you see there, and we'll make sure to get you a copy of it. Some of the next steps might be doing a full-length custom demo with Taz, which we can definitely help facilitate if you are interested. We can also help with evaluations as well. Or if you want to just talk more about, is this the right product, or is there a different Tenable product? What should I be looking to do? We can definitely help with that. So just let us know. Your productive account executive will be following up with you after the event. So just what can we do to help? Also, gift cards. Everyone that attended today's event will be getting an Amazon gift card. That is on my agenda to do next, right after this. So you should be seeing that directly from Amazon probably within the hour. So if you don't, it's probably in your spam filter because it does come straight from them. So with that, I want to thank both Taz and Ted for putting on a great presentation today, and for everyone on the event for taking your time, 30 minutes. We actually did it in about 28 minutes of your time to learn a little bit more about Productive, Tenable, what we have to offer, what we can do to help. So with that, we'll let everyone get on with their day. I appreciate everyone's help and our presenter today. So awesome, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you on another productive